The absolute first thing, if you feel like you are getting all kinds of, I got this project on my mind and this project on my mind, and I want to create social media posts and I want to create a webinar and I want to do this and I want to network and I want to, if you're feeling like all of this scattered energy, like you've got ideas going in every single direction and it feels like I don't know where to start, and then you get confused and it gets all sticky and stuck and staticky right out of the gate. The very first thing that we want to do is we want to let God, universe, source know exactly what the desire is. Because if we don't harness that energy in a very clear way, our field is wide open to be receiving all sorts of ideas and all sorts of inspirations and all sorts of things and directions that we can go. But ultimately, we don't know where that stuff is leading. So, this very clear desire, defined purpose, defined outcome is the thing that then gives the universe the directive to say, anything and everything that you are sending my way, it is for this desire. It is for this desire to manifest. So again, like really crystal clear. So I actually just started workshopping this with a couple of my private clients and getting them locked into a very specific desire for their business in a very specific time frame. And so I want you to think about right now, and maybe it'll pop up intuitively for you, or maybe you already know, but I want you to think about a very specific dollar amount that feels expansive. Maybe it's a monthly amount. Maybe it's a 90-day amount. Maybe it's an annual amount. So, right out of the gate here, just take a moment and tune in. How much money do you want to create? Forget about the rest. Forget about the number of clients. Forget about how it's going to happen. Just how much money do you want to bring into your field to hold and to circulate in what time frame? I've got one client, we're doing 30K in 90 days. Another client, we're doing 50K in 60 days. It's very personal for everybody. There's no right or wrong number. There's no need to inflate it. What we want to feel with this number is we want it to feel stretchy, but probably on a scale of 1 to 10. If we can get to a 6 or 7 of believability in this very first run, we're doing really good. So you want to find a number that feels believable at about a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10, and a time frame that feels believable at about a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10. And once you have that, you're at least over the middle of believability. Okay. So now that we have that, I'm going to ask a yes no question because I want you to feel it in your sacrals and feel it in your truth. Can you become laser focused on this? Can you become committed? Can you decide that it is so in this moment? Committed, focused, even obsessed, not from a hustle. We're not making this shit happen. It gets to happen for you. However, your determination, your commitment, your decisiveness around what you just came up with must be in place. It's got to be believable on some level, and I'll teach you how to get it to that 8 or 9, because that's when the universe starts dropping in and here's the pathway of least resistance. But it's got to be believable on some level at a 6, and there has to be a commitment. There has to be like, I'm burning the ships, cutting the ties. I'm not doing shit unless it's related to this goal, this desire that I am choosing to manifest. And the purpose behind this, the reason why we are doing this so specifically, is not because you're going to manifest that money. It's because once you understand how to co-create any desire that you want, you can have anything that you want whenever you want it. It's not about this number. It's about you learning and mastering the pathway to creating anything you want whenever you want. That's what this is about. So I'm giving you like the exact pathway with something very tangible and very concrete. And again, I keep dropping into what's realistic. Shannon, it sounds like, so let's go back to the question of believability. On a scale of 1 to 10, how believable does the number that just came to you feel? If it is at a 6, around a 6 or above, it doesn't matter if it's realistic, because what becomes real, but if it is under that, then you may need to shift and adjust exactly what your very specific number and timing for that number is. So it doesn't matter if it doesn't feel 100% realistic, but it's got to feel about a 6 on a realistic stage. Otherwise, If it's too beyond that, there's still a lot that we can do. We can still work with it. It's just going to require a lot more energetics, but there's some disconnect that's going to require a lot more inner work to be able to come into alignment with the desire. Because as soon as you come into alignment and you neutralize the amount and the timeline that you're playing with, as soon as it's neutralized, as soon as it feels at about an 8 or a 9, maybe even a 9.5 on the believability, that's when it's locked into the universe. That's when the co-creation process happens. So I'm going to share with you what we're doing to neutralize it. But if it's too far away, you're going to be battling this ping pong game in your head. It's going to be, I believe it, now I don't. I believe it, now I don't. And that's just a completely inefficient use of your energy. And it keeps sending mixed messages to the universe. So we have to just get at least over that tipping point of believability to be able to move that scale even further up to lock it in and then start actually getting into the actions and all of those things. Okay. So, again, have we decided? Are we committed? Are you willing to focus for the timeline that you just established? Now, hopefully, the timeline that you established isn't a year from now. And that's what I want you to feel into. Sometimes we soften our timeline. We say, I want to make 250K in the next 12 months. And then we just also soften our focus because we have a whole 12 months to create 250K. So we can get 6 months in to this process and still be like, I still have 6 months. It's still doable. And then, but it gets harder and harder. So I like a condensed amount of time. I love 60 days. I love 90 days. If you want to do 4 months, 5 months to the end of the year, that might be as far as I would stretch it. Otherwise, if you're like most people, you're going to end up stretching it too far, and that's going to loosen up your focus and create a lot of scattered and static energy in your field. So when we talk about specificity, it's specificity of amount and it's specificity of timing. However, we're still going to talk about detachment. Like, it doesn't mean that we're like gripping and holding on to this hard. We're just saying, I'm just giving the directions to the universe so that any and all information that I'm receiving back, I know that it is for this because I have set up the boundaries within my field to say, this is the focus for this time period. This is the intention. This is the commitment. This is the devotion. Okay. So now that we've got the commitment, the devotion, we've got the very specific amount, here's what we're going to do next. First, another little step in here is whatever that amount is, let me just ask. I guess we're totally workshopping today. So now that you have it, how clear are you on where that money's going to land? So I want you to think about now, imagine that money has come in the time frame that you're asking it to come in. Where is it going? How are you circulating it? Or how are you holding it for the future? Not from a place of fear, not for a rainy day, not for a feeling like, oh, I can finally breathe, not any of those. But I want you to think about the expansive ways that money is going to enhance your life, is going to bring your values to more life. So if you value beauty, where's the money going to land there? If you value fun, where's the money going to land there? If you love to travel, how is the money going to go there? If you love creating experiences for your family, where's the money going to go there? Think about where that's going to land. If you want to pay off debts, I like thinking about debt as every time that I pay it off, I'm freeing up more capital when new possibilities and opportunities show up for me to be visible or for me to spread my message or whatever it may be. So it's not to pay off debt because I feel guilt and shame about it. It's like once that's freed up, it's freeing up capital that I have access to that I can reinvest in my business when I'm called to, so that it's like I'm always prepared and I always have capital available, whether it's cash or credit, to go when Gus tells me to go. So that feels very expansive to me when I say, oh, I'm going to circulate my money to pay off these debts, because I'm doing that because now it's freeing up more possibilities to make more money and capital to do more of my impact in my work, right? So know where the money's going to land. So this is money mapping, and get that written down someplace. And you can think about this after the fact too. Now that you have the amount, now that you have like the places that it's going to land and the timeline, how we're going to start moving the needle from 6-ish believability to an 8 or 9-ish believability. This is like you're committed to all inner work. So what a lot of people do here, the mistake that they make is once they have that goal, they go straight into strategic. Okay, how's this going to happen? Okay, so if I sign 6 clients at this much, I can do this to get these clients. This is what works best for me. If you go into the whole how because you've defined your desire in this very clear, tangible way, you're collapsing the field because it's not believable yet. So right now, you believe that you have to just effort and push and make it happen. That's where attachment comes in and robs everything. Until we get to that 8 or 9 in believability, the universe isn't actually going to be able to back us. Like the universe doesn't like knows, it's just waiting for us to catch up. So what we're doing in this time is you're visualizing, you're speaking and writing this into existence as if it already is. And with where it wants to land, this is where you have threads to pull. So you can visualize if it's for travel, you can visualize exactly where that is and what that feels like and bring the whole thing into, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful and grateful that I was able to take this trip with my family and I provided it for them. And this money that came in created this experience. You're talking as if it's already happened or as if it is happening. Here we are, we're sitting in Costa Rica in the most beautiful eco luxury resort. It's so amazing. Like you're writing it, you're speaking it, you're being it, you're living it. You're also acting as if it's going to happen in 90 days. Goodness, there's some very tactical, practical things you're going to have to do if we stick with this Costa Rica thing. You're going to have to see what flights are available. You're going to have to see what hotels are available. You're going to have to pick out the hotel. You're going to have to pick out the timing. So you start making plans. You start acting as if you're not having to write the check. You're not having to submit the payment or anything yet, but you may as well act as if it's going to happen, right? So that's the very tangible things we start doing energetically. So it's like it's going to happen. So what would you be doing and what would have to be in place in order for you to fully receive it when it does happen? So that's some very tangible, specific actions you're taking that is making it more and more believable. And then you're also doing the deeper energetics of visualizing. And again, it can be broad, like you seeing your bank account, you seeing the numbers coming in, you seeing the emails coming in, the cha-chings, whatever it may be. It can be narrow, like you're seeing your calendar full, or you're seeing yourself at this resort in Costa Rica, sitting in the pool. But whatever it is, you just are doing this on a very consistent basis. It's like your only job is to neutralize this amount of money. And when I say neutralize, it feels believable. It feels like it's already done. It has no energy around it anymore. It doesn't have any of the energy of, oh, it feels like a lot. Oh, I don't know how it's going to happen. Oh, because it's going to feel like it's already happened energetically. It's only when it feels like it's already happened that the universe can come in and give you the pathway, the fastest path to the creation of it. And so, also, though, some of you are going to be like, I can't just sit here and visualize and do stuff. It's okay to start creating some initial strategy, but it's going to require focus. So, for example, maybe you are like, okay, so I know that, so we're actually doing this right now. It's very strategic, it's very planned, but the plans are loose. So, at any point, if Gus gives me guidance, we will pivot to guidance because I know that's the path of least resistance. But the mind might still want to be like, I want to be doing something. I want to do something. I want to be taking the action some way in my business. And so come up with some plan or pathway to creating this revenue. Maybe you decide you're going to post on social media 4 times a week. Maybe you decide you're going to do a training once a week. Maybe you decide you're going to attend some new networking events. I'm not saying do all the paths. I'm just saying pick one thing that you know you can rinse and repeat for the 60 or 90 days, and you can just do it brick by brick. So in our business right now, we're building out this beautiful funnel for a cold audience. We started talking about this a couple weeks ago. I said I was going to be pulling in another stabilizer into my business. Some really interesting things have happened. I've decided not to do that. And we're building it like brick by brick ourselves, Ashley, myself, and Shantini, the other person who's been on my team for a very long time, my copywriter. And it's so just like we're in it. We're in the action. And this is the pathway that I've decided because it feels the most expansive. That means you are not seeing me post on social media right now. You are not seeing me do anything else from a marketing standpoint. There is no place else you can see me from a marketing standpoint because I'm very focused on one path to the goal. So my goal is 250K in 5 months. And so this is the pathway that I've identified, and I'm totally open to the infinite ways that can come to fruition. And so you can still find like a strategic pathway, but make sure it's very focused, that you're not trying to do all of the things. When you're trying to do all of the things, it's coming from scarcity and lack. It's coming from a fear that something's not going to work, so you try to do all of the things. But otherwise, just pick the path that aligns with your zone of genius. So, for example, in our funnel, I know that any touch point with me, my expression, whether it's written or spoken, is the thing that unlocks people, unlocks the magnetism and the trust and the credibility. It doesn't matter how cold the audience is. So I'm very intentional that every step of the way that it must be my essence and it must be my truth and it must be my expression. And so that's an example of honoring your zone of genius and your gifts. If writing is not your gift, then don't say you're going to post 5 times on social media. If speaking is your gift, then maybe your pathway is getting booked on podcasts. And you just are like, I am going to crack the code on getting booked on podcasts and turning those podcast guesting opportunities into clients, period. And then master that. It's stepping into a mastery orientation, this very focused energy. And so the in between, you are building believability, but you're also giving your mind something to nibble on because anytime that there's any doubts coming in, ideally we can just truly just trust and believe that visualizing and everything will bring this to fruition. I'm telling you it can, but most people aren't there yet. They want something before the guidance comes in that feels like they're doing something. So if you're going to need to do something in the meantime as well, pick something very, very focused. Remember, the biggest thing that we did is we decided, we committed. So if it feels like, oh, I'm not like, you could get to an 8 or a 9 on day 59 and have a freaking windfall. Like, we don't know the mysterious ways the universe works. If we start waffling because we think it's taking too long, or we're getting impatient, or it is becoming less believable, and we pivot, like it has to be like a fierce commitment, which is why I like that 30, 60, 90-day place until you get to a place of really like trusting co-creation. Then you can stretch it to the 6 months or maybe even a year. But ultimately, it is just like I know, like I have decided. And if this isn't the perfect and right time, it is still going to happen. Like it, and so it's like I'm giving the universe some directive. Now, I might need more time to come into alignment with this desire, but I am not abandoning this desire until I am in alignment with it. So if I need more time to come into alignment with this desire, I also am going to I'm just going to wait until I come into alignment with this desire, because if I bail on this desire, then I have to start from scratch again and try to come into alignment with a new desire. Or I start settling on a desire, and you can come into alignment with a desire that actually doesn't stretch you, or actually doesn't feel magical, or actually doesn't feel like, holy crap, like I manifested this. You could confuse, yeah, I made it happen, but you might think you manifested it. Hi, guys, I want you to experience the power of co-creation. It is the most magical thing that you can ever experience. And so it's like I am going to hold on to this until I experience it. And it might take longer. And again, it might take longer, which is why we started with a 6 of believability, where if you were like down to a 2 in believability, for sure it's going to take longer. And so it maybe that's why I'm asking you guys to start, like, because then we start to get really discouraged and we're like, oh, I want to have a multiple 6-figure business, but I haven't even signed my first client. It's just too far of a stretch. Is it possible? Absolutely. Is it going to happen? Absolutely. Is it going to happen in the timeline? That's where we start getting into a glamorizing child. We're like fantasizing about all this stuff and we're just visualizing it and all of that, but we're so far away from it. We haven't shown ourselves what we're capable of fully yet. And so there's a huge disconnect. No matter how much we glamorize and visualize and dream about it, the disconnect is unconsciously, there's a little message saying, yeah, but. And if that yeah, but is there, we're just ping ponging back and forth and it's not really clear. So that's why when I talk about believability, somebody's believability might literally be 5,000 in 3 months. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, the whole purpose of this is for you to master the process of co-creation, because then the next time, because now you're building trust with yourself and the possibility, and also trust with the universe. And so it builds momentum. It's like a flywheel. So we just have to start where we are. And wherever that is okay, because again, we're taking a mastery orientation with co-creation. Like, how freaking cool is that? But if we start abandoning these goals too early, we're abandoning the co-creation process. So really where we start is crucial. I love that I came up with that little very intellectual thing about be at least at a 6, because then we can neutralize up to an 8 or 9. But going from a 1 of believability to a 9 of alignment, there's a lot of space in there that we lose hope and we lose trust and we collapse the process. Okay, I often plan a whole project or vacation out, and by the time I've mastered the details, I don't feel like I actually have to do it because it feels like it already happened. I move on to the next that excites me. I feel this process is to keep expanding my belief in what's possible until I commit to the thing I could have never imagined before. You know what, Marianne, you're neutralizing it, but and so of course it's like you think you've already experienced it. So can you allow yourself to still experience it and be surprised and delighted? So what you're doing is you're abandoning the process once you've already experienced it, once it's fully neutralized. Once it's, oh, okay, I don't really even want that anymore. It's like, but why not? Like, why not bring it to completion? It's almost like getting right before the finish line and saying, I'm good. Like, I'm good. I don't need it. But it's maybe that thing is going to unlock the next desire. Maybe you'll end up there and you'll be like, what? There's that hotel? I didn't even know that existed. As opposed to just coming up with the desires in your mind and what you think you want. Let it reveal the new desires to you. Yeah, but has the process of elimination ended? Or is it just going to be a constant process of elimination? Oh, maybe the next thing. Oh, maybe the next thing. Oh, maybe the next thing. It feels like a receiving challenge. Can you just fully receive it all the way? Do you have the capacity to not just receive it energetically, but receive it physically? Like physically, all the way in every single aspect of your being. So this happens a lot with level 6. It's like we go be monks on the mountaintop and we're just like so blissed out and peaceful that we miss out on like the human experience. Who knows what synchronicity could show up if you allowed yourself to fully experience it? Who knows who you could meet? Who knows what other desire you've put into the universe? Maybe it's to like, find a companion or love or a soulmate and you thought you were meant to be there to experience the vacation, but actually you were meant to be there like to have that happen because there's all this extra divine orchestration that's happening well beyond the desires that we think we have. It's not just for the thing. It's always multiple things that are happening that we can't see that unlock. It's really cool. I've been spending so much time on the details and feeling out of alignment with this. Being, believing, receiving makes more sense, even if it feels hard. You're welcome, Marianne. Yeah, that connects with your level 6. Yes. Yep. So it sounds like, Dory, like for you, it's like you've been in the doing instead of the being. And so it's like blocking the energy in first is the thing that now we go into the next step. So once you get the believability and the neutralization to about an 8, what you're actually doing is you're opening up, you're shifting your energy. You're literally shifting your energy from the lower levels of consciousness into the highest levels of consciousness as you are neutralizing desire. Because as you neutralize the desire, you're entering a state of detachment and trust and knowing and certainty. And those like 4 things that I just said are like the language of the universe. And so now you've aligned. And what happens when you hit that 8 to 9-ish in believability and fully neutralized, what happens is now you've just opened the communication lines with the universe. And so when we are doing and not focusing on the energy of neutralizing, we're usually doing as a way to manage our doubt, as a way to appease and control our doubts and our fears. And so what's underneath that, it's usually level 3 that causes us to, I just need to stay busy. I just need to keep doing stuff. I just need to keep feeling like I'm moving the needle. I just need to keep, usually that's like actually just appeasing a deep unconscious fear, as opposed to which the universe, like the lines of communication aren't open, does not compute. Like it is so far from the truth for the universe. Like we can't receive any of the guidance when we are operating from that place. And that's why I said, we want to focus on, yes, the energetics first and neutralizing the desire and coming into full alignment with the desire. Because then what we're doing is we're opening the lines of communication because the universe is seeing the path of least resistance and the path of least effort. The universe is very efficient. We are not efficient. So everything that has been created is very efficient. It runs on flow, it runs on cycles, it runs efficiently. It does not waste energy. And so when we interfere with that, we are wasting a lot of energy. What could be very efficient, effortless, with ease. Now, ease doesn't mean easy. Like it just means because the shit the universe is going to tell you to do is not going to feel easy. It's going to feel uncomfortable. An old version of you is dying while a new version of you is being birthed. One of my clients just articulated it so well. I literally feel like I'm going through my day and I don't even know I'm holding on to a blade and I'm gripping it and I don't feel any pain. And then all of a sudden the day ends and it's excruciating because it's so raw and so tender. And she's literally shedding an old version of herself and coming into the new version, which is aligned with something she's never ever created before. So all of the distraction and static that happens from our doing, trying to manage fear, trying to just keep fear at bay, it's like temporary comforts, but makes it so we have to always require effort and inefficient energy use to achieve the thing that we're trying to manifest and co-create. And so when the lines of communication are opened, now you get insights that pull your energy forward as opposed to you pushing your energy forward. So for example, we did a co-creation process, one of my clients, again, super simple. It wasn't money related. She had the desire for a complete up level around her brand, her branding, her website. Like it had to represent this new version of her. And we aligned the intention and made sure it was clean, made sure it was clear. And like she was like, I was feeling a should. I gotta write the copy, I gotta do this, I gotta find this, I gotta find that. But as soon as we like very clearly identified the desire and identified the timing as now, she instantaneously felt the pull. I just feel ready. I feel a deep readiness that I've never ever felt before. I've been sitting on this maybe for a year or 2 years, but because we aligned the energy, it was like an immediate, the time is now. I'm ready. And it was a pull. And within a week's time, she's interviewing copywriters and interviewing designers, and she's like pulling triggers. And it's like her vision is coming to fruition. But it took some time for us to align the energy before the pull came. And now it's an exciting process. And the synchronicity is really cool. She thought she was going to go with this one copywriter, and then something happened and it unlocked these other potential possibilities. Like when you're playing with the universe, you're on a magic carpet ride. You never know what's going to happen, but you connect all the dots looking backwards. Oh, thank goodness that happened. I thought it was a problem, but it actually ended up being a blessing in disguise. Yeah, doing or thinking. Yes, strategizing, Dory. Oh my goodness. Yes, the strategizing is just like doing. It's like feeling like it's doing with your mind, right? It's feeling like you're achieving so much, but at the end of the day, not actually feeling like, what the hell did I do? I didn't get anything done. Ashley's very adept in my overthinking, about overcomplicating and overthinking and trying to see the whole staircase before I just take the next step. And yeah, it gets me in trouble a lot too. And then it collapses and I burn out. Okay. Interesting. I'm finding my comfort in the not doing, but also in the not manifesting after a stress-filled year. I just want to sit in peace, but no spark of manifesting in sight. Avoidance, or there's no desire. Have you, like, again, usually when we just are happy sitting, doing in nothing, or being in peace or being in comfort, desire is the catalyst that pulls us out of that. The desire is the catalyst the desire for something we've never had before is the catalyst to things unlocking. So if you haven't declared a desire, then there's no need for activity, because it would be fruitless, I guess. It would be inefficient. So yeah, so I'm wondering if it's avoidance, or if it's not knowing what you want, or not declaring what you want, not owning what you want. So there's a lot of people that when you ask what they really want, they can't say it, or their desire is all about other people. If we don't know what we really want, if we're not willing to like fully tune into that desire, that pleasure, this is the sacral. If we're not willing to tune into what would be pleasurable for us, not because we find it pleasurable to see what's pleasurable for other people. Oh, it's so fun seeing my kids play out there or whatever. Oh, I'm so happy for them. That's not pleasure. Like it feels good, but that's not actual pleasure for me. Pleasure for me might be actually sitting in the pool in a floaty, like with nobody bothering me and everybody being gone. We have to get honest and really acknowledge that our pleasure can't be connected to other people's pleasure. So sometimes, yeah, if we can't come up with what we really want, it's usually because we are putting a bunch of other people ahead of ourselves. It can be our clients, it can be our prospects, our leads. I just want to make an impact. I just want to help people. It makes me so happy when people get results or they have that aha. Yeah, that feels good, but that's like abdicating your pleasure to things outside of you. Like, how do you experience pleasure if it has nothing to do with anybody else? And pleasure is desire, and desire is the catalyst for co-creation. Okay. It's weird that I'm even using that word. It's new. It's a new one. It's a new one that dropped in the last couple of weeks. And that's where, so now like once the desire is established, then there's automatically that impetus to start doing something. So if you do decide to go in a pathway, just pick a pathway that is pleasurable. How much joy can you soak out of things? So we're building things brick by brick right now. But one of the things that we're very clear on is there's no urgency. It doesn't matter, because again, we're neutralizing at the same time 250K in 5 months. It's like neutralizing that amount while simultaneously loving the process. I'm not trying to get to that because I already know the universe has that covered. So all I can do is have the joy of experiencing every single step of the process. The first experience that I had with this was when I decided to do a high-end luxury retreat. The first one, it was in Mexico. We were in-house. Chef was there. We took a catamaran in the ocean. It was like as luxurious as I could possibly make it be. I had the vision for it. And I just got immersed in the vision of this retreat and who was meant to be there. And the message was like, you walk in one version of yourself, you walk out a completely different person. Like life is forever changed. This is one of those moments where like it's a pivotal moment in time where you look back and say, that was the moment everything changed for me. That was the vision was so locked in and so clear that I knew obviously like at some point I'd have to share this vision. And so I spent hours creating an image that like was just a creative flow, but it was so joyful and pleasurable for me to bring to fruition an image in Canva that could represent the energy of what I was trying to articulate. And so that image was just like, it was, what did it, could it have looked at like it was inefficient? Could AI have created it? Sure. But the amount of energy that was inside that thing was freaking dripping. It was dripping with my, sorry, I'm using all these connotations, but it's important. It was dripping with my pleasure. It was dripping with my joy. It was dripping with my creativity, my expression. That hours saved me hundreds of hours of marketing. So again, once you decide your pathway, become obsessed with it, fall in love with it. Every single piece of it, the learning, the mastery, the expression, how you make it your own. This is everything. And this is what inspires the universe to guide us because this is alignment, because it's the highest levels of consciousness. And the highest levels of consciousness are the closest to the universe. So the communication lines are open. And so one image and then one written piece of me sharing my vision, it was a $40,000 net profit within a couple weeks. And I didn't even have the place booked yet. I didn't even have the timing yet, but people were in. So I could have promoted this retreat. Most of the time, if they say you're going to do a retreat, you should start promoting it like 6 months to a year in advance. And you should start a wait list. You should start an early bird. And you should start doing this. And there's all these strategies and all these ways to think through the whole strategic launch of a retreat. One post, one image, 25 people commented, 12 conversations, 6 people were in. Done. That was it. 40K in the bank. So again, come up with a pathway, but this is what I'm talking about with devotion and commitment and obsession. Because the more present you are in the pathway brick by brick, the more aligned you are with the desire, and then you get to be surprised and delighted about how it comes in. Okay, so no urgency, just intentional focus. This isn't driving to the outcome. It's keeping your mind busy and in joy while you are still neutralizing and aligning with the desire. So it's hard for me to articulate. So it's like you are in action and you are in vision and writing and speaking it into existence all at the same time, yet you are completely detached because it's just fun and enjoyable to do those things. And so then once you create your pathway, you also you're holding it so loosely and it's so enjoyable that if you receive the guidance to pivot the path, you pivot the path because it's coming from the higher place because the communication lines are open. And so if Gus comes in and says, we've got this thing almost fully built, we're probably ready to launch next week and just start driving into it. And it is freaking beautiful. And it's the whole thing is like personally transmitted. I channeled an entire webinar, automated webinar. I'm going to channel my ads. Everything's going to be channeled because I know that's like the most magnetic expression. And these are just portals that people can access that frequency and match it if it's a match. All that to say, we've poured into this and it's went very fast. With intentional focus, it's amazing. You hit superhuman productivity when it's enjoyable. Like it's just, I can't even describe how much has been achieved in the last 2 weeks by Ashley and I. It's unfriggin' believable. But where I'm going with this is if the universe comes in and says, that's not the path, I need you to go here. I want you to go here. I'll go there. I'll abandon all of this because it's still already brought so much joy and so much amazingness into our lives. Like I'll abandon all of it if that's what the universe asks me to do. So I'm not attached to that path, but I still get to pursue that path in joy. So that's what I'm inviting you to do. Find a path, pursue it in joy, but be willing to pivot if you receive guidance to go elsewhere once those communication lines open up. So this also means, so this is the other big shift that like any single one of these things, if you implement all of these, you are tightening your receiving container. If you implement one of them, you are tightening your receiving container to create a new reality. When I say receiving container is anything, any one of these things that we do. Define the desire, focus, choose a path and find joy in doing it. If you just pick one of them, like you are creating a new relationship in the co-creation process. If you do all of them, you are co-creating like in amazing ways. So part of this obsession, devotion, commitment, decisiveness, and this is a very new shift for me, especially when you have a lot of level 5 energy, things continue to come in and they all look like opportunities. But now there is a very powerful sacred no. And the sacred no says immediately, is it clear that this will support me? Is it clear? Or does it feel intuitively like this will support the vision that I have, the desire that I have? Because if it does not, and it is not clearly given to me from the universe, it is a hard and fast no. So I've been invited into masterminds and group programs, and even my own mentor is inviting me into like completely no-brainer programs that like a fraction of what anybody else would have to pay. Like logically, it all makes sense. But now there's like this sacred no that says, does it add to this commitment that I've made? Or does it detract and just add static and create new distractions? And 100% of the time, it's creating distractions. So where we left off 2 weeks ago, I was sharing with you, I believed that bringing in an ads agency that was fully aligned, I thought I had manifested an ads agency that was fully aligned, worked with high conscious coaches. They worked with Daniel Laporte. It was completely synchronistic how we crossed paths. I thought, oh my gosh, this is like a sign from the universe. We sometimes draw conclusions that the universe drops things in and that it's for a certain thing, but maybe it's for something else. So I'll use this as an example. I'm like, I'm 99% sold. Like, she would have to really fuck this sale up for me to not be in. Like everything about it, the synchronicity, the who she works with, the embodiment of who I'm showing up as. It's yeah, duh, no brainer. And as soon as we get on the call, things start fizzling a little bit. And the proposal comes in, and I'm like, God, why doesn't this feel right? It doesn't feel like fit anymore. She's brilliant. She's super intuitive. Like she gets intuitive, working intuitively. I'm like, I was trying to talk myself into it. And if you're trying to talk yourself into it, it's a no. That's the sacred no. And so finally it hit me. It was like, I can't have them take over my creative. I can't have them creating my images and creating my reels for the ads. And it has to be just that same image that I was telling you. It has to be me. It has to be me pouring the energetics into it. It can't just be check off the to-do list, which is level 3 productivity. And as soon as I realized that, I was like, I actually have everything I need. I don't actually need anybody to do anything because I find joy in the full process. And so it was a sacred no that didn't make any sense. And so what's really cool about, so I concluded the universe was bringing me this person because it was the ads person I wanted to manifest. But where the universe surprised and delighted me was they were bringing me this person because she unlocked more radical self-trust in myself and more confidence that I don't need to give any of that power away, that I get to harness it and bring it forward. So again, you might think like you're not manifesting something and then you can't connect the dots till backwards. Like what just happened there, one, from a financial standpoint, saved me probably $40,000 over the next 3 months that I get to reinvest in just putting my message out there in my way, in the most efficient way possible. So it's like I get to, it's like you can't even make it up. You connect the dots looking backwards. So I got a bigger gift. I thought the gift was going to be getting support in my business for this arm of my business. And instead, I got an even better gift from the universe, more self-trust and more clarity and more excitement to do the thing 100% in alignment with myself. Okay, that's the pathway. Oh, I think, let me check in here. That was everything I wanted to cover. Desire, commitment, very specific desire, commitment, pathway of joy and pleasure, the sacred no, opening up the communication lines by neutralizing the desire and coming into alignment with it, fully receiving the desire. Thank you for bringing that forward, Marion, because I didn't even think about that part, how we abandon our desires because we're like, I feel good. What's next? And then it's like, oh, what synchronicity did I just compromise because I didn't fully receive it? Questions, thoughts, what's standing out? We covered a lot of ground. That was a lot of energy. Awesome, Marion. Staying with the joy and doing it your way, not the conventional way, spoke right to me. Yeah. We found ways of quickly telling what is sacred desire from grasping or desire that leads to suffering. So yeah, I talk a lot about, so I actually use the syzygy process to help people get to, I call them clean and clear asks. And the syzygy, I won't go all the way into that, but what we're getting to is when it's a true desire that's detached, not graspy, that then ultimately leads to the suffering or the lessons. It's like amazing lessons. We're just all, I believe that everything that happens is here to guide us to this experience of co-creation. I like the power of this and what is possible when people, one, have desire that's coming from a clean and clear place, like a true heart's desire, and then knowing how to co-create it with the universe. Like, I just imagine a world like that, and it just makes my entire heart and mind want to explode into a million pieces and become one with the universe completely. But so a clean and clear ask feels like a, wouldn't it be cool if? Wouldn't it be cool if it feels, I don't, that's the only language I can come up with. I'm just going to say it a couple times because then you can feel it in my energy field because I'm projecting out through my voice a lot and through my thoughts and my identity of truth. Those are my defined centers that penetrate into this container. So wouldn't it be cool if, wouldn't it be cool if I created 250K in 5 months? How cool would that be? Wow, that'd be wild. What would I even do with that? You feel like all the curiosity in that? It's, gosh, what do I want to do with that? Well, I do have this whole list of things that I really want to create. Yeah, what on that list really feels like it's just like a, it's just an imaginative play, like as opposed to, so how we get to the clean clear ask with Syzygy is we actually get to the bottom of all the subconscious stuff and we just come into radical acceptance of I don't matter and nothing matters. And if I don't matter and nothing matters, then what do I want? Like truly, if what I'm trying to do here like actually doesn't matter, which it doesn't because the universe fucking has it. We just interfere with it all the time, right? If I don't matter, if I'm not a big fucking deal, if I'm literally smaller than this little ant that's building an anthill underneath my soil, if I'm so insignificant and I'm so much nothing in the grand scheme of thing of all the cosmos and all the things that play here, if I am completely insignificant, and if nothing that I do actually matters, this is like the 1-7 interplay. This is like the, it sounds like level one, but it's like really level seven because it's the truth. If I don't matter and nothing I do really matters, then what would I want to experience? And that's when we start playing the game from a very clean and clear ask. Okay, Marine. Yes, I have a bit of an energetic work to do as I've been uber focused on doing. Yeah, such a balancing act. We're really deep in our, it's structure versus flow, right? And so I guess that's the other thing I'll mention. I'll go a minute over here maybe, but I feel like for the first time in 15 years in business, and I might be eating my words 3 weeks from now, we'll see. I'm mastering structure and flow. So I was always a pendulum swinger. I would go flow, structure, because it would just be like, ah, this is too loosey-goosey. Ah, it's like loose, like it's really nice and peaceful, enjoyable, and I'm in flow, but I feel like I don't have any tethers. I'm not grounded. I'm not tied into anything. So then I would come over here and I'd tie in and I'd just be 100% strategic. And so what actually dropped in, this is so cool, when I just realized, I feel like for the first time I'm mastering structure and flow, like masculine and feminine in my business, of like this beautiful melding of the both and not just swinging the pendulum back and forth. And what it is, the structure for me, so let me just use, I'll just use my example. The structure in the masculine doing for us, like the literal like doing for us, Ashley Shantini and I, is focusing on learning the pieces, if you don't know them, that are the structures. So for example, I'm called to do Facebook ads. It's 100% in alignment with me. It's been in alignment with me in the past for a number of reasons. It's the pathway that feels just the most filled with possibility, mostly because I can spread my energy to millions of people with some clicks of a button. I don't get that opportunity. Like, we don't get that. I just know that my energy is meant to, I just keep visualizing and seeing it spread across the web. And even if people just catch the video for a second, like they're going to get a little love bump because I've just been so intentional with holding love and projecting love and expressing love. So I'm like, I see like that this is the only way that I can put something in front of like millions of people, little love bumps just all over the place. Podcast, sure, but maybe they got 50 people that listen, but like millions of people. So, anyways, that's my passion and excitement about paid advertising. I'll pay to do that. I'm going to pay to spread love because I know that the ROI is going to compound 100% when I'm spreading love and not scarcity. Anyways, so the doing for us now is it's legit. Like you got to figure out how to work through Ads Manager, like period. Like you got to know how to set up a campaign. It's which buttons to click, what the buttons mean. Like those are structures that are available for us to play in. But what's not, but, and then I could also fill it where I would get stuck is I'd fill the structures in with, okay, but what copy is converting right now? And what should I be writing? And what are the hooks? And what are the images that should be created? And what's really working out there? That's structure that's inappropriate for me because that's where I get to create. And that's where I get to innovate. And that's where I get to intuit. And so my default used to be that I would move structure into places that were designed for flow, but I can't flow with how to set up a campaign. Like it's very clear cut. It's just, it's very structured. Like I don't get to just make up buttons to push. So I've just gotten really clear at what parts are structure and what parts am I letting structure impede on flow when I'm looking for certainty because I'm afraid that me being me isn't enough. So then when I start wanting to take courses on how to do ad creative, I forget, oh, you're a pioneer in this. You use energy. You walk your talk. This isn't a strategy. This is an energy. But it is a strategy about how you're going to set it up in the back end. Yeah. As you're playing with that, how do you clarify what requires doing and structure and even learning? And what is you can trust yourself and know that it requires your signature, your energetic signature to be the magnet that calls in the perfect and right fit people. All right. Thanks everybody for being here. We'll be back in a couple weeks and have an amazing rest of your week. Goodbye for now.